I must say my choice to come to this hotel was quite clairvoyant because the weather here on over the last 3 to 4 days has been terrible. This is the best day. It's overcast, it's a little gray, but it's really windy. And I wanted to go everywhere on this property. I want to go out to this grassy knoll and do some videos out there. I wanted to go to the pool and do some videos. I wanted to do some videos up top on the rooftop. And it's been raining, it's been cloudy, it's been blustering, it's been like this, which has really prevented me from going outside and making content. I do want to show you one thing before I go inside and get to the topic of this video. Is Punta Cana safe? Notice this tall fence that goes around the perimeter of the property. Okay, notice that, and then that fence is patrolled by 3 guards 24/7. 3. This is not a large property. Okay, this is not a large property at all. You can see to the end of it right down there. It's a very small property, and they have 3 guards patrolling it. Chain link fence, and every single car that pulls into the parking lot is checked. Okay, and they take security here very seriously, and I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about today as I try to get out of this curtain. It's an awkward moment right here. Is Punta Cana safe? And I'm going to talk about another topic. Should you leave your hotel? Should you leave your cozy confines and go check out Punta Cana? Is there, what is that noise? Is there really anything to see? And before I go any further, I have to say this is not a rag on Punta Cana. Punta Cana is bad video. Quite the opposite. I've had a fantastic time. I will be back much sooner than later. And I find the Dominican people to be categorically amazing. They are warm and friendly and happy, lively, energetic. I have nothing but high praise for the Dominican people and culture, generally speaking. But that's not to say I did not find myself in some hairy situations here. And you can find yourself in dangerous parts in pretty much any city in the world. San Diego has some brutally dangerous areas. Toronto has some bad spots. London, Paris, oh my goodness. Vegas, you just take a couple wrong turns off the strip and you can be in some very dangerous areas. So you can find danger anywhere in America. It's really relative, okay? What I find dangerous, you might find very approachable. What you find dangerous, I might find approachable. There's this one guy on YouTube who goes to the most dangerous cities in the world and goes to the most dangerous areas, ghettos, slums, and walks around in them. That guy to me is crazy. Okay, so he probably looks at Punta Cana and this video and laughs. This is probably the Shangri-La for him. But I do want to talk about, is Punta Cana safe? I read a lot of stuff before I traveled here. And you can't help but hear it. Before I even considered coming to Punta Cana, there were some deaths here that made national headlines. David Ortiz, which is one of the Dominican Republic's proudest people, the famous baseball player, he came back here and was shot point blank. Okay, and there's some stuff surrounding that. Some people say that he had some brushes with the wrong people here throughout his life and had it coming. I don't want to get into that, but this guy came home to his home city where he is a national treasure and had some violence enacted on him. So I couldn't help but pay attention to that. And now that I've been here for 35 days, I've been here for 5 weeks in Punta Cana, I'm going to talk about, as a tourist, as someone who came here for the first time, who's now been here substantially. 35 days, that's probably 5 vacations if you spread them out. I'm going to talk about what my experience is, if how I find Punta Cana dangerous or safe, and if you should really leave your hotel. So let's get into it very quickly. Generally speaking, yes, Punta Cana is safe. I went to a lot of different places. I went to get my hair cut multiple times at multiple different places. I went to a club. I went to Legacy Club. I went to an after hours club called Scape. I went to a couple of restaurants. I went to the market. I went to the pharmacy. I did usual stuff that I think a tourist would want to go to, right? Restaurants, clubs. I went to the casino. I just got a haircut, pharmacy. I think that's pretty typical stuff. I gotta say that I think you should take an Uber. I have had some weird incidents, plural, in a taxi. One guy was, I think, blind. And I'm being dead serious. I'm not making a joke. I'm not making fun of anyone with disabilities. I think this guy was blind. This guy would have never been licensed in America, in Canada, in Europe, right? I mean, he couldn't see the road and he couldn't see the phone. So that is dangerous. Maybe not in like a direct manner, but in a very, very indirect manner. I mean, he's piloting a car, driving a car that you are in. So I guess in another manner, it gets no more dangerous than that. On my first taxi ride here, I get into the car and the guy goes, he's on a phone. And as soon as I get in, he makes a phone call and I just overhear the words, my Spanish. I'm starting to piece it together a little bit by bit. I'm recognizing words and phrases. And I just hear like at the end of his sentence, solo Americano, and then 30 seconds later he goes down an alley and pulls into pretty much a deserted parking lot and stops. That was definitely not where we were going, not even close. He knew where we were going. I'm not sure what he had planned or what was planned, but I definitely had to mitigate that immediately. I think that Uber is much better. The taxis are egregiously expensive. The Ubers are not as nice. They would be like Uber X, but I think Uber X is a little bit of a stretch. But at least you have some traceability with who you're with. You know a corporation is tracking them. The corporation has vetted your Uber driver. So I definitely recommend taking Uber much more than a taxi. Moreover, an Uber is going to be at least 3 times cheaper, sometimes 4. So Uber. What about when you get to your spot? What about if you go to the club or to a local bar? What can you expect? You know, here's some horror stories or read some stories about the alcohol being tainted or maybe some bad elements. The alcohol, from what I had, was fine. I definitely went to a lot of different places. I went to Legacy Club, which is a really, really cool club inside Avalon Casino. I had a great time there. I went to Scape, which is an after-hours club, bought a bottle there. I went to Drink Point, which is a local spot. Okay, Drink Point is a local spot. Literally, if you want to have a night like how the locals would have one, if you want to go to the local hot spot, go to Drink Point. The drinks were fine there. I went to a few other spots as well. Went to a couple local restaurants. You really shouldn't worry about the drinks. I mean, at least from my sample size, I didn't have any issues with it. There were some stories that came out about some alcohol being tainted, and those were actually at the resort. But I had no problems with the alcohol. So don't be worried about that. You are going to find some seedy elements. You are going to find some shady elements. They are going to approach you. So you should be confident on how to handle yourself if you get approached by someone. People are going to come up and ask for money. People are going to come up and try to lead you down a wrong road or try to get you to come with them. They're going to offer you stuff. They are going to get inside your personal space. This is going to happen. So just be aware of how to manage that. That is not unique or bespoke to Punta Cana. That happens everywhere, but it is certainly going to happen in Punta Cana if you go outside your hotel and go to like a local spot or go downtown or go to Bavaro. So just know how to handle yourself in those situations. I will say that I did go to a couple local spots and you are going to get some eyes. You are going to get some mischievous eyes. You are going to get somewhat of some sinister eyes. Some people are not going to like you just because you are a tourist. Maybe it's because of your skin color. Maybe it's because you got a bracelet on your hand. Maybe it's because you dress different. Or maybe it's just because you aren't from around here. And that is going to happen everywhere. But it certainly happened to me in Punta Cana. So you have to be self-aware. You have to be street smart. And you have to know how to handle yourself in those situations. If you do not want to be exposed to those situations, and they are going to present themselves if you go outside your hotel in Punta Cana, then I don't recommend going outside your hotel. So let's talk about that. Should you leave your hotel? Is there anything that's really worth leaving for? I think the short answer is no. There's no fear of missing out. There really isn't a huge attraction that you are going to miss if you stay inside your hotel. In fact, Punta Cana is pretty much set up for complete tourism. Okay, these hotels are set up to be self-sustaining ecosystems, self-sustaining environments where you shouldn't have to leave, don't have to leave, and really there's no reason, I think, there's really no compelling reason to leave. It's not like Cancun or Puerto Vallarta, for example. Those are two recent places that I was, where you stay at your hotel. Your hotel is beautiful, it's nice. They have, great pool, great restaurants, great bars, but there are also independent bars outside, or great independent restaurants outside the hotel that you want to go to. Like a Harry's in Cancun, like a Ruth Chris. Maybe you want like a good steak dinner. You want to go to Ruth Chris in Cancun, or maybe like a Sonora Prime in Puerto Vallarta. You're not going to find those type of places here in Punta Cana. Punta Cana is kind of more localized. Really the best spots are inside the hotels. There really aren't any marquee places to go outside your hotel that are compelling enough for you to walk a half mile or get a ride half mile to the gate, have an Uber pick you up, leave your hotel, go out for the night, and come back. There isn't a compelling place that I found that is worth it. Is it really even worth it to go to a club anyway? Because if you meet someone, and let's be honest, if you go to a club, the majority of people going are to meet someone, okay? To have a casual encounter, a long-term encounter, whatever. Let's be honest. If you're going to a club, you're looking to meet someone. There are some people that go for the music, and some people just go for the experience. But let's be honest, most people are going to meet someone, to maybe have some type of encounter or whatever. You're not gonna be able to bring that person back to your hotel. Okay, that person is not allowed in. These hotels don't allow visitors. Some do with visitor passes, but I was just at Majestic Elegance and Majestic Mirage, and they weren't allowing visitors at all. This hotel, AC, not allowing visitors. So you meet that hot guy or hot girl, or maybe someone you really want to spend additional time with, it's late in the night, you're not coming back to your hotel. They are not allowed in, which defeats a lot of purpose of going out in the first place. Again, if we're gonna have an honest conversation with ourselves. So be aware of that. So I really can't find or recommend a compelling reason to leave unless it's completely functional. All these hotels are going to have souvenir shops. They're all gonna have markets. They're all gonna have all the food and drink you could ever need and want. A lot of them have doctors and pharmacies on site. Many of them have spas where you can get a haircut. I'm a little finicky, so that's why I left. But generally speaking, if you're here for a week or even two, I really don't see a reason to leave.